Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Very well.
Yes, General.
Okay. And is Mr. HR Mohan also there?
Good evening, General.
He is waving at you,
Good
sir.
evening. Good evening.
Yeah,
I mean, I cannot
I'm
see
there.
you all. Generally, you
I'm
know,
waving my hand.
Oh, got it. Hi, how are you? Yeah, now I'm getting everybody, you know, otherwise I think I'll
Yes.
press this to get everybody into it.
Okay, Babu.
Okay. Yeah,
You see it?
so how is Delhi, sir? Rain started, right? Raining started. Delhi.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you?
Monsoon seems to be active now.
Yeah. Mr. Mohan, are you speaking to me or to?
Yes, I am asking you. I am asking you about Delhi.
Okay, no. I'm now in Chandigarh.
Oh, Chandigarh. Okay.
Yeah. I'm in Chandigarh, and but of course we keep moving up and down.
Okay.
But I'm told yes, it has been raining cats and dogs for some time over there,
Yes, sir.
and that's a condition all over, even in Maharashtra.
Uh-huh.
It is 23. So, you're right.
Just 10 minutes. I see.
Akila, can we start recording? Okay. And our Major General, you can start displaying your PPT. Just to start off. Or can, no. Can we have our banner, please? PVS, can we have our banner?
Hello, Mr. Mohan.
Yeah.
The chief guest has to speak before.
No, that's all. We'll introduce, then that will be the thing.
Sure.
So, Akila, can we have our banner? Okay.
He's also skilled.
Welcome, Taju. Sanjay here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sanjay.
Okay. Sir, we'll start, sir, in another 1 minute.
Left the meeting.
I hope his camera didn't get on.
Enjoying it.
Good evening. On behalf of the organizing units ACM Chennai, IEEE Computer Society Madras, and Computer Society of India Chennai, I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone present here, including the guest of honor, General Bikram Singh, the author of the book which is getting released today, Major General Tajuddin, and members of our various associations and invitees. So we have been conducting this type of book launch program followed by presentation by the respective authors for quite some time. This book release is one of the unique one in terms of explaining about the personality of the individual which manifests one's behavior. And this is very important in terms of self-development. So we are privileged to have General Bikram Singh as our guest of honor today, who will formally release the book and also address, being a army general, he is well known for the discipline. In fact, civilians are generally considered to be less disciplined. We have to learn so much from the army people, and in fact, we are privileged to have both the veterans from army to honor us today's evening function. General Bikram Singh, the former chief of the Indian Army and chairman chief of staff, superannuated on 31st July 2014. During his eventful military career of over 42 years, he had held a number of key appointments both in India and overseas. Before taking over as the Chief of Army Staff, he was the General Officer Commanding in Chief of the Eastern Command, a field army that is responsible for the Chinese border and the borders with our eastern neighbors, along with the counterinsurgency operations in the northeastern states of our country. He also commanded the prestigious Srinagar based 15 Corps that is responsible for the line of control and counter proxy war operations in the Kashmir Valley. The general is a graduate of the Defense Services Staff College, Wellington, Higher Command Course at AWT Moore, and U.S. Army War College, Pennsylvania, USA. His other academic qualifications include MSc in Defense Studies from Madras University in 1986. Incidentally, General seems to be quite close to Tamil Nadu. He has studied in Tamil Nadu and also was studied in Wellington, which is near Ooty. And he has MPhil in Defense and Management Studies from Devi Hagalya Vishwavidyalaya, Indore in 1997, and Master of Strategic Studies from U.S. Army War College, Pennsylvania, USA in 2004. In addition, the general was conferred with 2 honorary degrees of Doctorate of Science by SGGS World University, Punjab in 2016 by the Chief Minister of Punjab and GNDU Amritsar on 31st May 2018 by the Union HRD Minister Sri Prakash Javadekar. The general has served in 3 UN missions in Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Democratic Republic of Congo. During the Kargil War, she was the army spokesperson and conducted regular media briefings. She has lectured on various facets of geophysical and strategic affairs, leadership, management, strategy, peacekeeping, and disaster management in both domestic and international audiences. He has also lectured at some of the renowned corporate houses and management related institutions. A columnist, he has written number of columns for the magazines The Week, India Today, and Business Today magazine, and some domestic newspapers. For his distinguished and dedicated services, the President of India awarded him with Param Vikush Seva Medal, PVSM, Uttam Youth Seva Medal, Ati Vishish Seva Medal, Sena Medal, and Vishish Seva Medal. The general was also awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award by the Governor of Punjab and Administrator of Union Territory Chandigarh at the 39th Annual Day Function of LMA in 2017. In 2013, the General was inducted into the U.S. Army War College Hall of Fame and also awarded the Legion of Merit by the United States government for exceptional meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding services. It is a very, very rare honor for an Indian, not an American, for an Indian to get this honor. As an avid golfer, the General has been the president of Indian Golf Union from 2012 to 2013 and the president of Indian Polo Association from June 2012 to 31st July 2014. In fact, we are really privileged to have you as the chief guest, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mr. Mohan.
And before we request the chief guest to formally, I would like to formally introduce the author of the book, which is getting released, Major General Tajuddin Mhaisale, VSM, had an excellent academic and professional career in the army. He taught in all his courses and won number of awards for academic brilliance and oratory. He is an MTech in computer technology from IIT Delhi and a master's in management studies and business administration from IGNOU and MBA from Osmanabad University. Currently, he is completing his research in innovation-driven business sustainability at Savitribai Phule Pune University. During his service career, Major General had prestigious appointments such as Chief Technology Officer, Chief Innovation Officer, and Senior Systems Administrator. He was instrumental in establishing an ecosystem for innovation in the Indian Army and mentoring an incubation center at Delhi. He had handled the complete IT operations of the Indian Army for about 3 years, which included operational information systems, operational logistics systems, and HR systems. He has a vast experience in design, development, testing, and rolling out of a large number of enterprise-wide IT infrastructure and software systems. He has considerable experience in strategizing and planning of MRO and acquisition of defense equipment and combat systems in the Indian Army, and also in facilities and infrastructure management. He also had teaching tenures at prestigious defense institutions. He was awarded with Vishishta Seva Medal (VSM) by the President of India and a commendation card by the Chief of Army Staff for extraordinary service in the Indian Army. Major General Tajuddin has authored number of articles on equipment sustenance, creativity and innovation management, business sustainability, EQ, IQ, and expert systems in all these areas where he had more than 38 years of experience. He has authored the book, The Personality Development, which is getting released today, prepared handbooks on leading change, creativity, and innovation, business sustainability for corporate directors, and emotional intelligence for operational excellence. He is a fellow of Computer Society of India, All India Management Association, Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering, Institute of Engineers, besides being a member of Institute of Directors. Major General Tajuddin was an independent director on the board of directors of National Building Construction Corporation, a senior advisor with an MNC firm. He is a visiting faculty at the prestigious Institute of Directors, IOD, and a senior and chief mentor of P Combinator and IST 360. Major General is also a motivational speaker. He widely traveled both in India and abroad. He is a keen golfer and a passionate reader and writer. So no wonder that he has penned this book. And just I would like to add one small sentence about his presentation. So he has covered about 10 questions which are basic, primary and secondary questions. And these are going to be defined and he will dwell with how to develop them with the relevant life examples based on his vast experience. I am not going to give the details of this presentation, so let us wait to hear from horse's mouth. So now I would like to request our chief guest, General Bikram Singh, to formally release the book and also address the gathering. Over to General.
Thank you very much, Mr. H.R. Mohan, for the kind words of introduction and also for the invite. Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Hind and a very good evening. It's my proud privilege to be releasing the book of one of the outstanding journals of the Indian Army. The book titled 10 Quotients, A Guide to Complete Personality. I'm sure in times to come, this book, which has 11 chapters and highlights 10 quotients, would find a very prestigious place in the curriculum, in the syllabus of almost all universities and schools. Because ultimately what is required in life is nothing else but possessing a personality, a character, possessing competencies, being a holistic leader where you can fulfill your obligations wherever you are, and be, of course, a good citizen of the nation. Having gone through the book, as I said, and Mr. Mohan has also brought out, I think it will be in fitness of things that we leave it to the author to come out with various chapters. The four, primary quotients that he's given out and 6 secondary quotients that he's given out. I must say a lot of research work has gone into it, and the journal has done a stupendous job. And he has actually, I would say, flexed his ideational muscles. And of course, as highlighted by Mr. Mohan, he's intellectually empowered. He's got that insatiable appetite for knowledge. The very fact that, he's done, MTech, MBA, MMS, and he's now pursuing PhD. So while working on the premise that he'll cover everything, I was given 20 minutes. I thought I'll utilize this to very briefly acquaint you with the same subject on which the journal has written. Basically, I'll give you about, acquaint you with the architecture of the Indian military, of the Indian Army, as far as, making of leaders is concerned. Now, couple of things which I want to highlight. One is that, in the Army, we believe our postulation, our ideology, our philosophy with regard to developing leaders is that leaders are made, they are not born. And that can be proven by the fact that, we pick up people from all nook and corners of India, from their rustic backgrounds, and convert them, transform them into one of the finest leaders as far as the military of the world is concerned. Our military, wherever it goes, is highly recognized, respected, reputed, and it's on account of the leadership. It is not just that the officers I'm talking about. I'm talking in terms of the officers, junior commissioned officers, non-commissioned officers, who, being brought from the rustic, backgrounds, from the rural belt of our country, are transformed into agile, versatile, adaptive leaders who are invincible. And the leaders for whom, failure is not an option. Leaders who pursue excellence all the time. Right, so that is one. The first postulation of our architecture is that leaders are made, they are not born. That is one. Though, of course, there are numerous examples of leaders having, actually been born with those outstanding qualities, those attributes, those traits, those values. The next is that, we do not believe in making managers. I speak for the last 6-7 years, I've been speaking to the corporate houses. And as Mr. Mohan brought out, right from our School of Business Management, University of California, to our All India Management Association, where, most of you must be members, most of the IIMs, the Indian School of Business. I've spoken at most of these institutions on leadership, management, and strategy. And let me tell you one thing, and also being a graduate of the US Army War College, where I spent 1 year in Pennsylvania with 350 American officers, We do not use the word managers. We prepare leaders. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a difference. The difference between leader and a manager. And let me tell you, you go into an enterprise, you go into an organization, in precisely 2 minutes, you can make out whether that organization is being led by leaders or by managers. And one litmus test you'll find is, which I have seen now that I'm also an independent director in a couple of corporate houses. You'll find in organizations where people start looking at their watch around 4:30 and at bank 5 o'clock are in their car park or scooter park to pick up their scooter and rush to their houses. Those organizations are led by managers. But organizations where people are, on the automation mode, they are self-starters. They don't, if they finish their job, they leave at 3 o'clock also, they don't have to wait for 5. But leaders who are committed to the organizational goals, leaders who are committed, to the team. And these people, are basically focused. They are people of integrity. They are people of loyalty towards the organizational goals. So there's a difference altogether you will find. So we prepare leaders and not managers. The next thing is, vis-a-vis the civil, I find when I speak there, as against 2 levels of leadership, which generally the corporate houses have, and that is the strategic leadership at the highest level, and then you have the operational leader. We have 3 levels of leadership. We have the direct leadership or the tactical leadership. Direct means where a leader is actually dealing with the people, at the lower level, leading them into battle, making the work done, passing orders, training them, passing instructions, monitoring. These are direct leaders. They are tactical leaders. But as you go up in the echelons of the hierarchy, of the military hierarchy, you have the organizational leaders and then you have the strategic leaders. Like I was a strategic leader along with, I think the lieutenant generals, there would be some of them. I think General Tanwar is perhaps attending this particular, event. It's a milestone event as far as, Mhaisale is concerned. And I'm sure his coursemate, there would be a large number of his course-mates over there. So what I'm coming to is that we have those 3 levels, strategic level at the highest level, operational and direct level, tactical levels. Whereas in the corporate sector, mostly you have operational and strategic level. I'll briefly touch upon this as we go along. But a point about why the army, why the military is a trusted brand. People generally ask me, what is it? Why is it that the military never fails? The army never fails. But pulling out a child from a bore well, or you'll find Commonwealth Games, the bridge collapsing and the time is running out, prime is at a premium time, and you find the military being called in to create a bridge over there, construct a bridge. Whether it is the bridges going off, of the railway, over bridges in Mumbai, and they are prepared by the army. You name a thing. When ships are down, ladies and gentlemen, you will find the leadership in all the states, everywhere, looking over their shoulder towards the military. Why this military is a trusted brand? And I think it all is attributed to the leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, it is because of the culture of the military, culture of the army. And mind you, culture is something which is formed over decades, over years. It's based on beliefs, customs, traditions, values, precepts. And, it is something which gives the strength. It's the foundation of every organization. And like, for example, the Indian Army's culture is something which makes it such a robust organization, such a responsive, accountable organization, where whenever it is summoned for given any task, it is able to fulfill that task in a jiffy and with precision. It's all because of the culture. And you'll find culture, from the smallest building block of our society, a family. Every family has a culture. And every family you'll find, at times we talk in terms of, so-and-so family specializes in producing, lawyers. The so-and-so family, basically is focused towards corporation or business side. So you'll find this culture in every, family, which accordingly gets into the organizations. And what we do in the army, ladies and gentlemen, ours is a value-based, value-driven culture. That's the difference. I go and speak to the corporate houses and other places. I find on the website, the vision, the mission, the values being, on every website of the organization. But the difference between those websites and ours is that we make our people live and practice those values. We don't put them just to show to the people that, look, these are the values that we make our people live those values. We practice those values by the day. The values of integrity, the value of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, moral courage, physical courage, honor. These are the values which we pass on to our people, our subordinates. And that is what gives the strength, ladies and gentlemen, to our organization. Now, the other thing about our culture, which I find which is different from large number of other organizations, is that we are focused towards transforming a nominated leader into an accepted leader. Now, there's a difference. Mind you, when you join an organization, most of you, wherever you go for your job, you've been nominated, you've been picked up. I was nominated by the President of India, the second lieutenant. Mhaisale was nominated by the President of India, the second lieutenant, when he joined the Corps of Electrical EME. Now, I went to the infantry. So we were nominated leaders, but assiduously, ladies and gentlemen, our organization, our leaders, our seniors, our commanding officers, company commanders, they shaped us into leaders of character and competence. And that's what the military looks into. Character, which comprises of the attributes and values that makes a character of a person. And of course, the set of skills which are there, which are, skills like your technical skills, your conceptual skills, your interpersonal skills, which make the competencies. So the military, the Indian Army, produces right from a second lieutenant to a general officer, leaders of character and competence. And that's the reason you will find that our veterans, wherever they go, whichever organization they are in, they do a stupendous job. They do a perfect job. They are committed, dedicated, disciplined. And that's the word that was used by, Mr. H.R. Mohan. So that's another thing. The other thing is that, we make creative leaders. You'll say, now, everybody goes into it. Now, let me tell you how we create those leaders. We instead of, we give the task to a person. You'll find, I remember when I was a second lieutenant, I was given a task. And, I was asked by the commanding officer or by the company commander what it entailed. And I was told to sort of analyze as to what exactly is supposed to be done. So the basic difference I find in other organizations and in the army is that you let a person exercise his or her initiative. You give the task, you leave that individual to find out, what, when, where, who, what else. That is something we look into. The other thing, why the army never fails or the military never fails is, ladies and gentlemen, we believe in comprehensive risk management. And right from my second lieutenant days, I have seen, the commanding officers, the company commanders, when they're given a task, they sit down and through collective wisdom, evolve plans which are foolproof. And wherever things go wrong, mind you, there are contingencies from A to Z. It's not just, plan A and B, which we talk in terms of our normal teachings in management. So that's the other thing. The other thing why the army never sort of lets you down is that the military, the army remains ready and relevant all the time. Now, relevance is with regard to leading change, because change is the only constant. Change occurs very fast. There'll be disruptions. So we have a very comprehensive system, a very focused system of, looking beyond the horizon, anticipating the changes that are coming about and proactively putting our arms around the problem and making sure that we are ready for those changes. And this is done through, adaptation. This is done through innovation. This is done through transformation. We have the transformation of the Indian Army taking place now. This is something which goes on. But most importantly, all this is done through collective wisdom. We get together and we move. So culture, ladies and gentlemen, gets, it percolates down into every organization. Culture is created by the strategic leadership. It is shaped by the strategic leadership over years. But it percolates down into the organization and various verticals, which is also the case in corporate sector, through the climate which the leaders create. So we can talk about this sometime later. I'm not actually getting into this because I know time is at premium and there are a lot of things which have got to be sort of, touched upon. But very briefly, I think I've got 5 minutes more to go. I'm a person who will stick to the timings. When we talk in terms of attributes, ladies and gentlemen, we talk of, the mental, emotional, and physical attributes. And in the mental attributes, 2 things we really focus on is creating a willpower and mental endurance. Now, if you have that mental endurance, you can never be defeated. Failure is not an option for you. You'll continue to persevere till you achieve success. So willpower along with mental endurance is something we focus on. We believe in self-discipline, initiative I talked about, judgment, self-confidence, intelligence, cultural awareness, very important. Because when I talked of the values, I talked of respect as well. Respect is treating the people the way they're supposed to be treated. Respect is also respecting diversity. That's where we are a very homogeneous, team. Despite the diversity which is there, we are one. And that's because respect for diversity. We don't differentiate, this person is from south, from north, east, west, which caste he belongs to, which religion he belongs to. No, there is one religion, and that religion is the Constitution. That religion is the tricolor. That religion is the Indian Army or the Indian military. So that's what we look at, and that's what we work for. That is what takes us. So, but cultural awareness, when I talked of, ladies and gentlemen, it is on account of the fact that we have large number of our people going across, to the United Nations. And the reason they excel over there is that they go prepared to adapt to the cultural environments which is over there, which every culture has a different, as I said earlier, different beliefs, customs, traditions. So they go with those, fully armed, fully prepared to do well. Now, amongst the emotional that I talked of attributes, we have self-controlled, emotional balance, emotional stability, which even, I find in the book, when I was skimming through the book, it talks of that. And of course, the physical, attribute, when you talk of, it is basically being, having robust mental faculties and robust, your physical attributes. Because that actually enables you to develop the willpower. And that actually keeps you agile, alive all the time. Because mind you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a cakewalk today for a young major, for a colonel who lands up in Jammu and Kashmir in the asymmetrical environment where you do not know who's your friend and who's foe. Excelling in that environment where the change is so fast that you got to have agile, mentally agile, versatile leaders, who if you can take a decision, analyze the situation, understand the gravity of the situation, and make sure while saving their team, they can kill the adversary. So this is all on account of, as I said earlier, the culture which percolates through the climate into the organization, where people are being trained to be people who are, who pursue excellence and who are invincible leaders. The other thing, when I talked of values, I have a couple of minutes to go. I talked of integrity, doing the right thing legally and morally. You have loyalty, allegiance to your organizational goals, to your team, to your family, to yourself. Because unless you have allegiance to yourself, you will not improve. So loyalty has many facets, which have got to be looked into. Duty is another value that we talk of, fulfilling our obligations. And that's given in all our scriptures, if you look at that. Respect I've talked of. Selfless service, going beyond the call of duty to fulfill your obligations. Then we talk in terms of courage. The moral courage of having the conviction to speak the truth, even if you have to stand alone and speak about it. That's what we teach our people. That courage of conviction. And of course, physical courage is important. And honor, of course, is living these values. And one more thing, ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk about is that we have certain warrior ethos, which are a part of our value system. And that basically underscores we teach our people and learn ourselves and never to quit, and never to accept defeat, and never to leave our colleagues behind. In our profession, where kinetic means are used, we have large number of casualties. But we teach our people. You will find the history of war fighting of the Indian Army. We have never ever left our wounded soldier, our fallen colleague behind. Even if he weighed 80 kgs or 70 kgs, he's lifted on the shoulders and passed on from one individual to the other and brought back to the base. Never left over there. In the skills, as I've talked of values and this thing in the architecture. Skills, ladies and gentlemen, we talk in terms of technical skills, the basic skills which are required to fulfill your obligation. Conceptual skills which are required to operate in volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. VUCA, as we call. This is where the leaders at the higher level, at the operational and at the strategic level, are able to deal with ideas. This is where they evolve strategy. This is where they evolve vision. And they translate that vision into mission, goals, objectives, and tasks. And then they use they evolve strategy, which is nothing else but an interplay of ends, ways, and means to utilize optimally the means available to you to fulfill that vision, which of course is achieved over decades. You cannot achieve vision overnight. Vision is something which is the end state, an ideal end state that you are seeking. And interpersonal skills, of course, even in the book, he's touched upon 3 facets of interpersonal skills which we talk about. is the ability of a leader. If a leader has to influence his subordinates, his colleagues, to take them along to fulfill collective goals, then, ladies and gentlemen, he has got to be good at expressing his or herself. So communications is very important as part of your interpersonal skills. The ability to listen is very important, and non-verbal communications is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, 70% of what we do, when we speak, I go and speak to the audience. Of course, today I'm on a digital platform, but you have to supplement what you say along with your physical, your non-verbal communications, because 70% of what you convey is done through non-verbal communication. It is just 30% what you convey verbally. You got to supplement what you're saying verbally with your physical attributes and your unspoken non-verbal communications. As time is over now, I'll leave it at that. Just a word about the book again, and compliments to General Mhaisale for an outstanding work, outstanding piece. I would say it's an intellectually stimulating piece. I've gone through it. I'll read again. And I have no doubts, ladies and gentlemen, that in times to come, this beautiful book will find its way to all the important libraries, all academic institutions, all management institutions. And I'm sure when people read this book, they'll be inclined towards even including this in the syllabus of various academic institutions. I wish him all the very best in all his future endeavors. God bless you. And Mr. Mohan, once again, my grateful thanks to you for inviting me for this milestone event. Thanks a lot. Jai Hind.
Thank you, General. Can you just show the book towards your right, so that on the screen, so that we can little bit.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, little bit. Move it a little left. Yes. But your face is getting hidden. Yes.
Oh. No, I think they must have seen enough of my face. Must have seen already.
Yeah. Now it is. Yeah, now it is fine, sir.
Okay.
We are trying to optimize.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sitting through and listening to me. And all the very best to General Mhaisale.
Thank you, General, for your wonderful address. Before we request the Major General to speak about the book and also about the contents and explain about the various questions, I would like to add that Major General Tajuddin has volunteered to provide the first chapter of the book, which deals with the various checklists, how one can assess the various quotients, and also the last chapter, which is highly relevant to the IT professionals, about the data quotient, how to develop the data quotient. So he has volunteered to share this, both the first chapter as well as the 10th chapter, to all our participants. So thank you very much for your kindness, Major General. Now over to Major General about the book and also the presentation on various portions.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan. We are really honored to have our chief guest, our chief, with the maximum amount, the most highly decorated I have seen in my entire service. We're really grateful to you, sir, for your encouraging words, and I'm sure it will help me as well as Chennai to galvanize our efforts further to further the intellectual capital or the human capital of the country, which Mr. Mohan and his team is pioneering at their end. So I really compliment them. I also thank Mr. Mohan and his team for inviting me to give a presentation and speak on this book. Akila, can you help me just putting this book on the slides, please? Yeah, share. Okay. Can you see me now? Can you see the screen? Yeah. I'm sitting the point. Can you see it now? Thank you, Akila. Thank you so much.
go to the presentation mode, sir. Now
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
in edit mode.
yeah, it's coming, it's coming. Okay.
Fine.
So this is the major cover, ladies and gentlemen. It's real pleasure
Garam cha.
speaking with you. What happened?
No, again we have moved back to the entire screen. Not the presentation.
Shouldn't happen. Just hold on, please. The presentation itself has gone. I'm surprised. You have to give me a little time, please.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah. Go to the presentation. Yes. Fine, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mohan. Okay. Okay, guys, now this is okay, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm good evening to all of you. This is the book which I written after research of 5 years. And the thing which motivated me to write this book is you have plenty of books on various quotients like passion quotient, like EQ is very popular, emotional quotient is extremely popular. Then is the IQ, intelligence quotient, and so on. But there is not a single guide or there is not a single book which is a compendium of all the quotients as a reference. That is what motivated me to write the complete compendium. Of course, the trigger, all big events happen at the trigger. I was sitting in a movie hall in 1985, and the movie, that is Mahatma Gandhi, played by the Ben Kingsley, which got 8 Oscar awards. And the movie was finished. The complete audience got up from the seat and started give a standing ovation through a thunderous applause. That is what moved me. Well, what is this man has done in his life? That is where I started searching into it. Okay.
The slide is okay. Fine.
Okay. Now I'm coming straight. Please remember, as the chief guest also pointed out very correctly, everything begins with the self-development, right? I already done this example. A human being is an atom. Okay, is a building block in a family, in a society, in a nation. He got to have his own happiness, his own progress. He got to contribute to the society to which he belongs to the family, and to the country, and to the organization. How can he do that? This can be done only when his personality is developed. And what is personality? It is made up of so many quotients. There were 10 quotients, 4 primary and 6 secondary, we'll speak later. So once these quotients are developed, then the person starts contributing to himself, to the family, to the society, to the organization, and the country. That's the way it goes. That is a fulfilling life. Then the sense you have made a difference to the world, difference to humanity. And the key to that is the development of the quotient. I had the various literature, and the approach I have given is drawn here. I'll not waste time on this. Okay, there are 10 quotients are touched upon. 4 are primary, 6 are secondary. The spiritual quotient, mother of all, emotional quotient, passion quotient, intelligence quotient, and then all 5 secondary quotients and digital quotient, because nowadays without digital quotient there is no survival. Okay, sitting locked down, give the order on the Amazon. Starting from the vegetables right till the clothes, right till your hygiene chemicals, right till your utility items. The digital quotient is here, and you can't do without it. Okay, yeah. Now, what is the interrelationship between the primary and the secondary quotients? These primary quotients, namely the spiritual quotient, emotional quotient, passion quotient, intelligence quotient, they were on since the time immemorial. But when the industrial era came, then all these things started. That is your That is your entrepreneurial quotient, your innovation quotient, your social quotient, your leadership quotient, and so on. Right? One of the greatest example we can give of a person having the maximum quotients is Mahatma Gandhi. See that what inspiration you can draw for him. Except for digital quotient, nobody talked of those days. That was all the time to talk about digital quotient. Entrepreneurial quotient, no. He never went to the entrepreneurial quotient. All quotients, all 8 quotients, this particular great personality had in life. Think of Steve Jobs. All the quotients, including the communications quotient. His address at San Jose, where Apple releases its half-yearly outlook about Apple and releases its products. The who's who of the world is to fly there to listen to him. So much about the communication quotient, innovation quotient, the greatest innovator of the current century, Steve Jobs, entrepreneurial quotient. He converted Apple from a gone case to the company which is with the highest capitalization in the world, highest market capitalization in the world. Right? And of course, the leadership quotient. Okay, fine. Now, this diagram shows that the primary quotients are absolutely essential in all secondary quotients. So you can see from the diagram here, and digital quotient is all separate by itself, without which there is no survival. Okay, see, this is another way of putting at it. All 5 they are in the outer. Digital is of course the outermost. Spiritual is at the center, the mother quotient. Right? I'll touch a little more on spiritual quotient because ultimately, when the man is depressed, he is defeated, he goes to spiritual quotient. Okay, I got the methodology which I have adopted is I give a basic quiz, okay, about the various quotients. So before you go through the book, go through the quiz, take the quiz. It will make you understand as to what is the development or what is the status of your various quotients before you start reading the book. Okay, I give 1 chapter to each quotient, and after you've gone through the book, or after, for example, suppose you have finished the spirituality quotient, you take a test, right? And then compare the prior and the post. Both these results, you will see whether the reading this particular book has really benefited you in the form of development of that particular quotient. I give takeaway in the ends. I have given 1 icon, right? I kept it very reasonable because the attention span of the reader, okay, it's just about 40 to 50 pages, 30 to 40 pages. You can't have more than that, right? Now, this is one of the example I have given. In the sense, I have given the quiz, the attributes are listed here. Agree strongly, agree, no comments, disagree, disagree strongly. 5 point, 4, 3, 2, 1. Aggregate all of them. If it's greater than 90%, excellent, and extremely poor is less than 60%. That's the way it has been quantified. That is, your learning or the status of your quotient has been quantified and given here as an example. For example, the digital quotient. I got 11 attributes here, right? You can just read on the screen. It needs no explanation. There's keeping track, that is tracking trains, keeping updated, a strategy in place, okay, learning and reading lectures, then DIY, okay, all your ecosystem in place, most important, cyber security and your cyber hygiene, which I'll again touch upon later. Okay, yeah. Coming to the spiritual quotient, the mother of all quotients, right? Ashoka the Great, Ashoka the Great, please remember the Great, conquered everything. He saw the destruction, totally befallen, crestfallen. Okay, what did he do? He adopted Buddhism. He totally went spiritual. That's why the spiritual quotient is the mother of all quotients. Right? I'm going to touch upon only 2 attributes here because of shortage of time. The first develops self-awareness and mindfulness. I've listed 8 attributes which you must imbibe or which you must inculcate in yourself in order to attain the spiritual quotient. First is develop self-awareness and then mindfulness. Fine. Self-awareness. It is the self-reflection about yourself. What is my problem? It is internal and external. Internally, and it has got an internal focus. That is self-reflection. You're seeing it within yourself. Internally, what are my strengths? What are my problems? Have I got some biases? Have I got some prejudice? Have I got some a wrong impression about somebody? See it for yourself. Right? How do you do that? You do self-contemplation. Carry out your own SWOT analysis. All of us talk of SWOT analysis, but do you do about your own SWOT analysis? That is where you got to do it. Then take some time off. Contemplate. Work out your own weaknesses as well as the external. That is how others view you. Somebody says you're too meek. Right? You got to improve on that. Somebody says you're not a social man, you're a social animal. Got to improve on that. That is how you develop the self-awareness and then the mindfulness. A quote from Buddha: don't dwell in the past. Don't dream of the future. Focus only on the present moment. So dwell in the present moment. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the ways you are going to develop your self-awareness and mindfulness. Mindfulness, you just focus on the present moment, right? What are the good things here? What are the bad things here? How am I going to stay relevant here? That's what our chief guest also talked about. We have to stay relevant. For that, we have to be mindful. And I'm talking about this ability to transcend oneself. All of us are, we know our national culture. We know the case of Valmiki. What was he? He was a robber. And what transformed him? How does he transform himself? See, one side is negative. Robbery, loot, murder, anger, hatred, jealousy. He transcended himself to an upper orbit where there was kindness, there's love, there was generosity, there's feeling of goodness towards everybody, joy, happiness, which enabled him to write Ramayana. When he met Narad Muni, yes, Narad, he told him, friend, what you're doing is not right. Have you seen the movie Arjun Pandit? What was Sanjeev Kumar? He was a thief. He was a robber. When Ashok Kumar, he sees Ashok Kumar indulging himself selflessly into the service of humanity, he transcends himself from that to the higher orbit of service to humanity, humility, compassion, help, kindness, love. So it's okay from the spiritual point of view. For example, you want to transcend to a higher orbit. So that time, sorry for that. That time you got to have that goal in the front. For example, you want to become a good human being. Visualize yourself. What a good human being is like. What are his qualities? Then imbibe those qualities. That is how you will transcend yourself. Okay? Keep your standards high. Keep your focus there. Again, carry out your self-contemplation. Find out what you need to do for that. That is the ability to transcend oneself. You have seen two of the best things in this particular thing to do is prayers and meditation. Spiritualism. You cannot separate meditation and prayers from spiritualism. Prayers, what do? It's your communion with the Almighty. Oh God, give me good things of life. Oh God, purify my head, purify my eyes, purify my throat, my heart, my body, my feet. You're appealing to the Almighty. You're in communion with Him. Right? And then the meditation. Oh, I'm powerful. I'm whole. I'm perfect. I'm strong. I'm powerful. Right? I'm young. I'm rich. I'm loving. I'm harmonious. I'm happy. See, You're asserting, you're seeing all those qualities in yourself. And this meditation helps you to go to that level, what you're aspiring for. 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, written by Harari, who also wrote Homo Deus and Homo Sapiens. The last chapter in that, he writes, I did Vipassana for 10 days in India. One of the finest book. 75% of the corporate, the Fortune 500 guys have said that these two books are a must to read. There's Homo Deus and Homo Sapiens. He says, I did meditation for 2 hours every day for 3 years. That gave me the clarity. That gave me the inner strength, the inner soul of, inner peace of soul to write those two great, or the great books, that is Homo Sapiens and Homo Deus. So, what does the meditation prayer gives us? Given in the bottom line, right understanding about the universe, about the nature. That gives you right resolution, right thought, right speech, right conduct, right efforts, right living, and then the right focus, right activity we should go on. Dwelling on the spiritual quotient further, perfect balance, maintenance of life, extremely important. How my life should be balanced. This for a common man, right? There are 3 things. Our Vedas say there are 3 gunas or 3 laws of nature. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva is all virtue, all values, all intelligence.
Unknown caller.
That is what Lord Vishnu stands for. Rajas, action, velocity, acceleration, all the drive in the stomach, your fire in the stomach. That is with Brahma, he created the universe. And Tamas is destruction. Okay, but in this case, it is the sleep, it is the boozing, it is the laziness. But a normal human being needs all 3 of them. Sattva, 9 hours. Rajas, 8 hours is the work. And sleep for 7 hours. And in these 9 hours, you have 3H, 3F, 3S. Health, hygiene, hobby. Family, friends, faith. Service, soul, smile. That is what it will give a balanced life or a sense of spirituality to you. Extremely important because it is the mother quotient of all the quotients, right? Next is the emotional quotient. I have touched only upon 2 here, develop self-awareness and mindfulness. Because self-awareness and mindfulness are very important in case of spiritual quotient as well as emotional quotient, right? So what applies for spiritual quotient also applies here. I'm talking to practice self-regulation, that is self-control. Again, I want to quote an instance from Ramayana. Sita Samyamvar, all of you have seen it. There is a condition that this is the Shiva Dhanush. You have to bow it, put string properly, and whosoever does that is going to be the winner. And Rama, with his supernatural powers, is able to do that. In the bargain, he breaks that Dhanush. Lord Parshuram, who comes there, who's the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu, he says, who has broken this? Ram says, I have done it, sir. He starts berating Janaka, his father. He starts threatening all of them. I'll destroy you guys. Ram, being what he is, he kept on apologizing. Ultimately, Parshuram got fed up. He says, I want to know who the hell you guys are. Identify yourself. And in this very humble manner, Lord Ram says, I am Ram. Parshuram is totally dissolved. His anger is diffused. He's totally gone into a mode of apology. That is the self-control one has to exercise. You can't throw your weight around. You got to have the self-control. Then only you'll have that emotional quotient. whereby you can play around, you can control your own feelings, your own emotions, your own perceptions, and that of the others as well. It's two-way traffic. Both you control so that you lead in your mission. You're successful in your mission. You're able to channelize your energy as well as that of others in a particular mission. Emotional quotient, extremely important, right? We'll touch upon it a little later. Come to the passion quotient. Today the main news had come, right? Have a clear purpose in life. What was the news today? It has said it has sent joy and happiness in the souls of all Indians on the Mother Earth. Mirabai Chanu winning a silver because it's the purpose of life. Look at this girl. A very small family, 5 siblings. She wanted to do the weightlifting, inspired by Kunjurani. So she saw that purpose of life. I want to become the weightlifter. She had to travel 44 kilometers per day. And when the training coach, gave her the dietary prescription, it was written there, chicken and milk. Her family could not afford it. But she kept on to it. That passion, she kept on to it. You see the result today. That is because of that and the self-belief in her. Belief moved, the faith moves the mountains. Very rightly said, absolutely said. All these guys, we talk of Sachin Tendulkar. We talk of Mohammad Rafi. We talk of Lata Mangeshkar. We talk of Mozart. It is the self-belief in themselves that all these people have transcended themselves into a higher orbit of achievement. And be positive. Glass is not half empty. Glass is always half full. As our chief guest pointed out, positivity is one of the solid rock quality of all Indians, and in particularly the soldiers. Right? Coming to the next one, I'm coming to the intelligence quotient. You got to have that intelligence. You're talking about IQ. I'm talking about two here, verbal kinesthetic intelligence and interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence. These all are important in order for you to be a successful person. First is verbal intelligence. That's speaking ability. We saw the wonderful talk today by our chief guest. Does it come just like that? No. Efforts go in that. A lot of reading goes in that. Studying the people, interacting with the people, going to the dictionary. Okay, this is the military example. It's perfectly right. Right? I'll give a civil example. Kinesthetic intelligence. In the sense, you got to coordinate your body movements with your words. Then only it has an impact. How do you do that? Attend the dramas. Interact with the people. Travel widely. I'll give you an example of Mr. A.M. Naik, ex-boss of L&T, a very powerful person. And he himself has very humbly narrated. When he didn't know English, his verbal communication was poor, he took the dictionary and started reading and started listening to himself so that he improves his verbal communication. Not only that, he stood in front of the mirror and practiced what he's going to speak, in what way he's going to speak. That is the way you develop your verbal and kinesthetic intelligence. Then the interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence is extremely important. You judge yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your limitations, your beliefs, your attitude, your preferences, and that also of the others, so that you're able to deal with them in a proper manner. After all, the world is that of collaboration, of interrelationships. And that is only possible if you have that intelligence, both interpersonal as well as the intrapersonal. This is a great debate. I myself had written just a few days back. I was asked to write emotional intelligence for operational excellence for the board of directors, IOD. I just written this. There's always a debate which is important, EQ or IQ. When I get recruited, right? You can see that IQ there by the reddish lines. Yes, it's important. It's more than the EQ because you're being tested for your knowledge. It's for your knowledge, for your competence. But as you go up and up, you're interacting with the people. You're a part of the team. You're heading the team. You're heading an organization. You're interacting with the people. That is where the emotional quotient will run extremely high. And the research shows the success needs 80% of the times emotional quotient and 20% of the times intelligence quotient, IQ, right? Okay. Coming to the communication quotient, I have finished all the primary quotients. I'm coming to secondary quotients. Have empathy, extremely important. Put yourself in the other's shoes, right? Put yourself in the other's shoes. Understand his sensitivities, his beliefs, his emotions, his feelings against a particular word, right? Now, there are three kinds of sympathies. One is cognitive sympathy. That is, put yourself in the other's shoes. Try to understand. Second is emotional sympathy. See in what way it will affect his emotions and feelings. Last is compassionate sympathy. You've seen the mother lifting her child in her arm. She smiles at him. What does the child do? Smiles back. That is a compassionate sympathy. Right? That's what a leader must have. I'll come to that later. A noble being must have empathy. See how the others are going to like about it, others feel about it, others how they anticipate about it, how they react to it, and develop your communication quotient accordingly. Example here. You know how our parliament functions. Tu chara khor, A, B, C, D. Okay. It's not correct for me to say anything about here. Party-wise, there is all those should not have happened. There was a lot of commotion, there was a lot of shouting, there was a lot of tension, total polarization along the party lines. Here the Prime Minister stands. Within a minute of his speaking, there's a peal of laughter. All MPs are applauding him. All MPs from all the sides, they're laughing it out. That Prime Minister was our Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He could carry everybody with him. Have you seen him? Even a simple chaiwala, he's speaking to him, he used to lend him a close ear. Our chief guest also say we must develop an art of listening. You want to develop a communication quotient, extremely important. 90% of the time you should listen. Only 10% of the time you should speak. But experiment shows 40%, 45% of the time we believe only from myself to others. That is only speaking myself is wrong. So develop that art of listening. Listen to what the other person is saying. Focus on him. Yasin Atal Bihari Vajpayee, totally looking directly into his eyes, giving a patient hearing to him. Ceding the control to him, okay, you speak, I'm hearing here. Then only that communication quotient will be developed. The entrepreneurial quotient, have a compelling vision and strategy. I got two examples here. A son of a primary teacher, both of them, right? One has got a vision. I'll build the largest petrochemical complex in India. Dhirubhai Ambani. The other one says, I'll build the largest digital payment platform for free India. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, whose Paytm issue is coming now, which has been valued at $25 billion. Look at the valuation. All because of the vision. And this vision has to be compelling. So interact with your buddies, interact with your friends, develop that vision. And that vision has got to have a sound strategy. You have a vision, no strategy, it's just a daydreaming. Doesn't make sense. Right? You have strategy, no vision, disaster. Okay? You should know where the train engine, where you want to head towards. Is it Bombay, Delhi, Ahmedabad? Okay, let the train take me anywhere it feels like. No. So that is what is vision and strategy. Have a compelling vision. Communicate it to your subordinates. What the vision is. That's why both these gentlemen did, especially Dhirubhai Ambani. You got to communicate to the subordinates. It has to be a very good vision. Empower them. Right? Make them collaborate with each other. That is the role which vision has. Articulate good resourcefulness. What are the resources we need? Money, methods, machine, right? Space, knowledge. So what you do is you tabulate, build an inventory. For example, money, my source is 1, 2, 3, 4. Machines 1, 2, 3, 4. And tap them. That is where articulate good resourcefulness. That's what Dhirubhai Ambani did. He took the money from a common man when the banks were not giving him. Went to the friends, gave him the equity and took the money from them. Personally, that also. So, articulating a good resourcefulness is extremely important in case you want to develop a good entrepreneurial quotient. Right? Next is innovation quotient, extremely important. Either innovate or you perish. See today the startups. India has become the biggest startup in the world. A small country, only 0.02% population in the world. Its avionics from that country is mounted on the complete US aviation assets. Majority of the European assets. That country rules in that particular area despite the hostile neighbors, and that country is Israel. Just innovate, dream big. For example, Steve Jobs. The dream is a laptop or a computer on everybody's desk in life. Later on, a digital music in everybody's pocket, 1,000 pockets, any song 3 clicks away. That's how iPod was born. That is the dreaming big. Imagine big. That is how iPhone came. That is how iPad came. So unless you dream big and imagine big, nothing comes. That's what Vijay Shekhar Sharma did. Right? Dream and imagine big. Then only the things get achieved. You break those barriers and you go there. Keep beginner's mind and curiosity, growth mindset come later. When a child is there in the beginning, he says, Ma, ye kya hai, ma? What is that, Papa? His curiosity is extremely high. But what happens when he goes to school? Hey man, listen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, learn this table. Otherwise you're a 0. That curiosity of the child, that beginner's mind is just knocked off. So, what does it mean? It means that our school curriculum also has to be oriented whereby the beginner's mind and curiosity has to be encouraged in the child. But we as individuals has got to keep that curiosity through this W7H2 given below. What, when, where, whom, why, what if, why not, how much? Simple question. What if I sell the books online? Why not sell them online? And that gave rise to the Amazon empire. Look at that. And the same child has got the growth mindset. He starts running, falls. Does he give up? No, he gets up. Tries it, gets up. Again starts running. Learns from the failure. And starts going higher and higher. That is the growth mindset. And all of us must have it. Never be afraid that I'm going to fail in this. So what? Only when you try, you fail. Right? And from the failure, you learn. And go ahead. Develop the habit of risk-taking, exploring, and experimenting attitude. 1,000 times he failed. He took the risks, explored, experimented. I'm talking about Thomas Edison. Out of 1,999 times he failed, 1,000 times he's successful. So you want to improve innovation quotient, develop the habit of risk-taking, exploring, experimenting. That's what the startup entrepreneurs are doing today. That's what Zomato valued at 1,000 crore rupees, 1 lakh crore rupees yesterday. Much more than even Pidilite and a little less than Asian Paints. You're going to generate wealth, you're going to generate job, you're going to create empires only through risk-taking, exploring, and experimenting attitude. Leadership quotient. I will just give you a few examples. We had one of the finest talk on this particular aspect by our chief guest, so I don't think I should dwell much on that. And talking the art of leadership explains service to others. Right? Look at that. The general manager in Taj Hotel, 26/11, the terrorists have come. They shot his wife. They shot his children. And this gentleman is taking the guests safely out of the hotel, Taj Hotel in Mumbai. That is the service to others. That is the leadership quotient. Have strong vision and values. You got to have a strong vision, naturally. Then those things. Have humility and compassion. And talk about humility. A tree grows big. For example, the aam ka darakh or the mango tree. And when it is hugely loaded, it droops down. Hey people, hey folks, enjoy as much of my fruits as possible. Enjoy my shadow, right? Enjoy my fruits, my leaves, branches. That humility you got to have. A little oblique man, I'll speak. When Mahatma Gandhi was there, his one ishara or his one indication with the one finger would have set the whole masses on riot. You say, no, what did he say? When somebody slaps you, offer him other cheek too. That's what even Jesus said. That is the height of humility a leader must have. I'm just talking about in a metaphorical sense, not in actual sense, people. And compassion. See, the leader must have compassion. Here is Field Marshal Manik Shah, that time Captain Manik Shah, taken a full volley of fire of the LMG in his stomach in Burma campaign in Second World War, and one of his soldiers also injured. When the evacuation party came, what does he say? No, evacuate him first. The soldier has got just two bullet injury. He has taken the complete volley of fire in his stomach. That is compassion. The leader got to have that compassion. Right? Then only a leadership quotient is going to come out. Next is the social quotient. Develop the social awareness. Yeah, how the society is going to interact. Right? How you perceive the society. What are your biases? What are your shortcomings when you are going to interact with the society? How the society sees your shortcomings. Right? Because you got to align yourself what the society expects. Then only is going to have relevance. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, the biggest leader the humanity has ever seen. See that. Totally aligned with the feelings of the society. Totally aligned with the expectations of the society. With the emotions of the society. And social facility, he is to communicate with anybody. It may be industrialist. It may be a person dwelling in the say, Juggi Jhopadi, an educated fellow, educationist. For all of them, he is to conduct in such a manner that they is to feel him as a part of them. And be open-minded, avoid criticism. Never criticize anybody. Have you heard or have you ever read Mahatma Gandhi criticizing anybody? No, be open-minded. Okay, accept from others. A lot of good things come from others. You become rich as in your social quotient. Right? So after that, the last one I'm coming to is digital and cyber quotient. Yes, extremely important nowadays. And I'm also giving a slide, okay, whereby what are the do's and don'ts. have a right strategy and resources. You got to have the strategy. What am I going to do? Okay. For example, person A wants to have a strategy. Okay. All my bank bills, all my bill payments will be done online. Right? See the strategy. And how online? You must do it online. That is the strategy. Okay. And to realize that, you got to have the resources. Earmark the resources. Hardware, software, training, it costs money. Right? Then is the handle social media with care. Please be extremely careful. You see the mayhem caused by Twitter? You see the mayhem caused by Pegasus? You see the mayhem caused by Facebook? So please be extremely careful. Because social media is for your entertainment, for your education, for your connectivity with others, but not for spreading the wrong rumors there. Be very careful when you handle the social media. And ensure cyber hygiene. That is your discipline, the way you handle your cyber assets, the way you the way you handle your files, your data, the two-factor authentication, right? The way you handle any virus which is coming, immediately it should be reported to the higher authorities, right? Then the physical security of your digital assets. All this you got to make sure that it is in a hygienic manner. No loophole is left anywhere. So this is what is the method how to improve your digital quotient. You can go through that. Have a proper strategy in place with adequate resources. Ensure that you have a good ecosystem, that is connectivity, devices, hardware, software, and training, right? You got to know. Be extremely careful about cyber security. At least have two-factor authentication. Be extremely careful and disciplined while handling social media network. Keep track of advances in technology. Stay yourself updated. Extremely important, right? Okay. If 5G is coming, you can't persist with 3G or 4G. No, you got to go to 5G. It's that simple. You can't do without it. Try to do it yourself because you learn in the bargain. But be careful and consult experts in case there's a problem. Ensure your cyber hygiene is good. Be disciplined. Report if there is a cyber attack to the right authorities. Get cyber audit done. Extremely important. Okay, there are a lot of agencies who do cyber audit. Okay, and then look at this here. We talked from the chief guest. What are the attributes which a good person should have? These are the attributes: empathy, positive attitude, courage and confidence, self-discipline, self-esteem and self-respect. Self-respect is feeling about yourself, and self-esteem is what you do. Your own izzat in your eyes for your own achievements and capabilities. That is the self-esteem. Okay, patience and hard work, gratitude and humility. Right? Everywhere, all these quotients, almost all of them, they need these attributes. Now see the interrelationship between the primary and the secondary quotients. All the secondary quotients which are here, CQ, communication quotient, entrepreneurial quotient, innovation quotient, leadership quotient, and the social quotient, they need all of these primary quotients. And how about the interdependence between the secondary quotients themselves? You can see here, communication quotient needs innovation quotient, as well as social quotient, right? Yeah, innovation quotient. You got to know how to connect with the masses, innovative ways. Entrepreneurial quotient, you have to communicate well, innovate, and be a good leader, and so on, right? So this is what it is. For example, innovation quotient I given here. It needs all these 4 primary quotients, as well as the entrepreneurial quotient, communication quotient, and the digital quotient. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I come to the end of my presentation. This is what I wanted to give the address. I thank all of you, especially thank the chief guest for being very kind enough to release the book today. We're very honored, sir. I'm very grateful to the organizers, and my sincere gratitude to the publisher, whichbooks@rediffmail.com. I asked him, would you like to take time? He said, no, I don't want to steal your thunder. I just don't want to interrupt when you're speaking, when you're addressing yourself. Okay, just one meet with him. Just one meet, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the publishers, you know how it is. They don't even bother about you. They make you run around. No, just one meet. And thereafter, it was an unconditional support. I'm emphasizing two words, unconditional support. Right? And I got a lot of queries, about 40 questions I have. Okay, this is my address. I'm all available. This is my email and this is my mobile. Right. I finish this. I'll be too glad to take on the questions which lot many of you may have.
Sakthivel, can you take over?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening to all of you, and thank you very much, respected Major General Bikram Singh and General Bikram Singh and Major General Tajuddin for excellent and motivating talk. So we have some questions. I will read out and please answer, sir. How do you measure success?
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah. I got these questions also.
Yes,
sorry, I'm just hold. Let me connect, please. Okay, just let me connect.
Speaker seems to be disconnected.
Yes, sir. So you will be reconnecting.
Yeah. And also there are a few questions in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, please unmute, sir. Sir, please unmute and talk, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I switched on to my mobile.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sorry.
So how do you measure success?
Yeah. It's a good question. Success means different things to different people. Okay. For a baniya, success means dhan ayo. Okay. Then let the money keep on coming. That is, whereas for a student, success means a success in exam. Okay. Success in his interview. But for a normal being, for a normal human being, success means success in professional life, success on the family front, success on the personal front, right? I've shown that exam. That is, I've shown that the slide, the perfect balance between sattva, rajas, and tamas. That is what is success. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How do you evaluate present changes that an individual can adopt?
How do you?
Evaluate present changes that an individual can adopt.
No, I'm not able to hear you. Can you say a little louder, please? I'll request you.
How do you evaluate present changes that an individual can adopt?
Yeah. How do you evaluate the present changes the individual can adopt? Yeah.
Yes.
You see, there are some changes which are absolutely good to you, you got to evaluate. You got to mechanism. You got to have that mechanism. That is, I was talking about the IQ. That is where you evaluate what matters for you, right? For example, say the digital quotient in the COVID. Yes, you evaluate it. Yes, what is good for you? Okay, fine. Another thing is, okay, investing in the stock market is okay. Does it go to everybody? Not required. And purchase a particular fancy item. Is it required for everybody? No. So you have your own values, you have your own requirements, and you have your own system of evaluation in place. Then you adopt those, right? The basic word I would like to have here is evaluation by your own self of your basic needs, your basic requirements. Okay, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. What things should we keep in mind if we talk about disabled personality, especially visually impaired?
Yeah, it was a very moving question when I saw it in the morning. Yes, disability extremely important. We got to be, that is where the compassion counts, right? That is where the chapter which I touched upon, that is the passion quotient, the empathy, extremely important. See his feelings, right? Understand his feelings. All those three empathies I'm talking about, the cognitive empathy, the emotional empathy, and compassionate empathy, you got to be empathetic to him. Not only that, you got to strengthen his belief, self-belief. So what? I'm disabled, but I got A, B, C, D strengths. I got A, B, C, D strengths, right? And let me live up to them. To make him understand and to make him realize that these are the strengths, that is what we'd like to do. Never make him feel that he's handicapped, he can't do a particular thing. No, make him aware of his ability. And he will realize the goal, what he wants to do. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How to speak in front of someone or in community where the people has more experience than you? So how to present our thoughts, ideas, etc.
Yeah, your tasks, your ideas, yes, that's very. Please remember, whoso's there, yes, I'll also link the question about interview, right, with this. There's one more question, how to clear that. Please remember,
Successful interview. Yes.
I'll combine both these, right?
Yes, sir.
Please remember, the person who's interviewing you was also interviewed some amount of time earlier, 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier. So he understands your limitations. He understands your strengths, right? He understands particularly your limitations. So don't think that he's a God Parmeshwar sitting there. No, he's also a normal human being. And there are some good thoughts of yours. There are some original thoughts. There are some competence what you have, your own original ideas what you have, your strengths what you have, your beliefs what you have, your passion what you have. Bring it there. Your positivity, what courage you're showing, what you're bringing to the table. You got to make him understand. You got to convey it across. Okay, so don't get what I'm saying is disheartened there. Don't go in a depressed mood there. Go confidently. The people what they judge in you, whether even if you're inferior in knowledge, with what confidence, with what conviction, how honestly, with what integrity you are presenting those particular facts, how true they are. That is what counts. So forget about inferior or superior. What you're saying, you're the boss of your own destiny. Please remember that. Yeah.
Next question, sir. Change is permanent. At the age of 52, will it make me adapt to the 10 questions of personality development? I think a person of age 52 has asked this question. At the age of 52, will it make me adapt to the 10 questions of personality development?
It is possible. It is definitely possible. Right? I'll tell you the reason. You and me eat KFC, isn't it? Okay? Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders. Do you know at what age he discovered the success for this? At the age of 66. He found the right formula for the chicken dish. And today he has become a billionaire. Life just begins after 50, sir. Life just begins 50. What is 50, 60, 70? It is only in your mind, right? You're the height of you are the height of a maturity, at the height of experience, at the height of your knowledge. Acquire new things, right? Nobody can stop you from adopting new things which are relevant. Digital quotient. Yes, the matter of speaking, your spiritual quotient, how to innovate. All these things are possible to learn even now. That is, have the open mindset, have the growth mindset. If you close, if you have that fear, आप तो मैं 50-60 का हो गया, आज क्या करना है? No. Because you're your own enemy. You shut your own mind. Please don't do that. Keep open-minded. Have that good mind. Have that belief in yourself. Even at this age, you can do it, and you will do it.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How to effectively communicate with strangers?
Yeah, that's it. That's a very interesting question. It's not only, see, there are two people which involve in communication. Person A, person B. A is a stranger to B and B is also a stranger to A, right? So when you are communicating with a stranger, start warmly. Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, sir. May I help you? Anything I can do? Okay, that's the way to go. Do with warm smile, with affection, with positivity. See the other thing. That is where your spiritual quotient will come into play. All people are good. All people are children. All people are God's children. I told that affirmation or during meditation. I'm loving. I'm harmonious, happy. Harmony with what? With everything within myself, but also with the world, with the people, with the nature. If you have that attitude, you'll never go wrong. Reply warmly, reply positively, but with calm and cool mind.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How to do time management and lead in critical situation when there is a loss of life partner?
Oh, loss of life, nothing can be better than, nothing can be better than a soldier to face it. You'll have to, you'll have to face it squarely. All I can say is one sentence I can say, you'll have to face it squarely. Keep your emotional quotient under check. That is the quality of self-control or self-regulation, right? Self-awareness will have to be at its height at this point in time. Okay? Take control of the situation. Time is short, okay. So you weigh your options, A, B, C, D. Carry out the quick cost-benefit analysis, right?
Thank you, sir. Next question. What makes the best discipline towards oneself?
What makes the best?
Discipline.
Okay.
Towards oneself.
Best discipline, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is okay. Towards oneself is you got to. It's just your prayers and meditation. All that I can say is this. Your spiritual quotient, which is going to come very handy in this. Meditate, self-contemplate, see your own weaknesses and strengths, right? And believe in yourself. Okay? That is all I can say. Your spiritual quotient. Fall back on that. Self-awareness, okay, and your self-belief. That is also important, right? Yeah. Okay.
The next question, sir. What is T-shaped personality? T-shaped personality.
T-shaped personality. Oh, that means somebody has seen that. Okay, fine. T-shaped personality is actually important innovation. So for what happens is innovation is connecting dots, right? And these dots extend over various terrains, various sectors. For example, you got an iPod. Okay, it consists of metallurgy. It consists of sound technology. It consists of electrical technology. It consists of electronics technology. It contains of IT technology. Can one person be the god of everything? No. you know the IT technologies extremely well, but have the rudimentary knowledge about, say, your metallurgy, your sound technology, your electronics technology. So that is the T, that is the horizontal line. That is rudimentary knowledge about all these disciplines, 5, 6 disciplines. But as far as the IT is concerned, have that complete T, that is the standing stick, have the in-depth knowledge at least of one discipline. That's what the T-shaped personality means. Then only you will be able to connect the dots. For example, when Steve Jobs went to Japan, he was boxed in finding out a switch for his iPod, right? He was seeing the rice cooker, steam rice cooker of Matsushita for the button. See, he just saw the button. Then it clicked his mind and he said, this was the button I can adopt for my iPod. That is connecting the dots from a totally different sector to his electronic product. So that is a T-shaped personality. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. How to inculcate good qualities in the present generation?
Oh, yeah. How to, that is lead by example. You got to yourself set an example, isn't it? Yeah. How to inculcate the habits in the next example only by leading by example. Okay. Make them read. Give them good examples. Okay. Let them go through a lot of things. A lot of introspection, a lot of reading, a lot of seeing the positive aspects as far as the social media is concerned, TV is concerned. They got to be well informed. But basic thing, what they got to bring, which is coming subsequently as well. One of the question, I'll cover it here. You got to shape up the character of a person. And what does the character mean? It means 6 things: honesty, integrity, self-control, loyalty, accountability, right? And self-sacrifice. Okay? The young generation is taught these qualities. Mind you, this country is going to be great. I come from NDA, the institute known as National Defense Academy, and 3 years we feel the difference, or we feel that value of character. So all the youngsters, let their character come out strong. The next, everybody is capable. Everybody knows. The God has given the instincts of survival to everybody, instincts for learning to everybody. But that character needs to be strengthened at the childhood itself. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Which aspect of personality should carry more weightage? How such aspect affect the behavior of an individual?
Okay, how more weightage? Oh, it all depends on you. It all depends. So you want to be an entrepreneur. For example, in this particular, I said all four basic quotients you got to know. You got to know an entrepreneur. You got to become an entrepreneur. You got to be a good communicator. You got to be a good leader, right? You got to have a good digital quotient. These are the things which are going to be there. For example, what you do is, in this particular case, you have that circular diagram with the radius, say about 7-8 radius, and each one of them should be at least 7 to 8, if not more. Okay. Plot it on that circular diagram and take the actions accordingly, right? So what I'm saying here is, choose a field and then identify what all the disciplines are important. These are very personal things. I can also take it offline, because this is a highly personalized subject. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Next question. Does physical appearance matter for the personality?
In a way, yes. But do you know Napoleon Bonaparte's height? 5 feet 2 inches, shorter than me even. But he commanded the all-powerful French army, defeated all the European armies. What capability you have from inside, your leadership qualities, they don't matter. Okay, but well.
And the last question.
Just even your Gita says, you got to stay healthy to be able to look after yourselves, to be able to endure pain or the efforts which your life is going to give you, right? But if अब खुदा ने पैदा किया आपको काली शक्ल से, in the sense you are born dark, doesn't mean you are dark. No, your abilities, your achievements, your capabilities, those are the ones which are going to drive you. So please don't get any complexion of that kind. Rather, it should reinforce the resolve to do still better. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. One last and important question, sir. How to develop patriotism among Indians?
Yeah. I was really seeing among this. Yeah, it's a very tricky question, especially when nationalism is being misinterpreted as patriotism and vice versa. It's a very tricky question at this point. Patriotism is the flag. The first foremost important thing in this is India is one of those countries in the world which has the highest diversity, which has the highest. Not only that, it is the unity amongst the humongous diversity, and we got to respect it. Whether I'm a leader, whether I'm a bhakt, whether I'm a saint, whether I'm an industrialist, whether I'm a sportsman, I have got to respect this unity in diversity. Point number one. Point number two, remember that flag. Remember all those sacrifices which our leaders have done. Okay, fly the flag in front of you. Remind yourself of that. And third, say proudly, I am an Indian. Okay, I am an Indian. Ours is a huge culture. Culture lasting back to thousands of years ago. Be proud of it. Say proudly, I'm an Indian. And that is a patriotism. Okay, but have respect for the unity in diversity. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. These are some of the questions from participants. Now over to Mr. H.R. Mohan for further proceedings.
And there was one question. There was one more question. Sorry, I'll take somebody has written he is an innovator. Is he here? Mr. Ramalinga Swami. No, he's not. No. Okay. So he can reach me directly since I'm the mentor for 3 startups. That question was a little out of the context, so I thought I'll speak personal to him. His question was, he has come out with an idea. Okay, driverless car, right? How do I impress the academia? How do I impress the investors? How do I impress the founders? They're not getting impressed at all. Okay, my answer in this particular case would be, I can't start another Amazon tomorrow. Driverless car, it has cost $9 billion to Google. Apple is on the way. Also going to spend $7 billion. So, my dear friend, see a small void which exists and address that with your meager resources, right? Because ultimately, any startup entrepreneur has to start bootstrapping way, that is using your own money. So, find the small void which you can make a dent into, and don't start addressing the complete universe itself. Okay, that's a waste of money, waste of time, and waste of effort. Yes, that's what the message I'd like to give to him. Yes, sir, I have finished.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, may I request Dr. Priya to formally provide the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. I thank everyone for attending the meeting book release and webinar on the 10 questions, a complete guide for personality. I thank General Bikram Singh for kind enough to release the book and facilitating the gathering. And I thank Major General Tajuddin Moulali for his kind enough to accept and give the chapter 10 to the registered participant, and also walking through the book and providing his guides, tips and techniques on the 10 questions for personality development. I thank our associate partners who are long way run with us for arranging these programs. I thank our partner ACM Chennai chapter, Mr. HR Mohan, chair for ACM Chennai chapter, and Dr. Sakthivel, IEEE Computer Society Madras chapter chair. And I also thank our event coordination team, Dr. Agila and Mr. PV Subramaniam, who is helping with me a lot to organize all the events. I thank all the participants who have joined and enthusiastically participated in the webinar. I thank everyone who attended the webinar. Regarding our upcoming events, we have a webinar on soft skills for interview success on 31st July at 6 p.m. by Mr. R. Saravana Kumar, former Director, Cognizant Technology Solutions. We have a national seminar on research to publications, what researchers should know, on August 7th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have a webinar on emerging technology and innovation in post-COVID world on 14th August at 6 p.m. And we have webinar on dignifying CI/CD and DevOps on 28th August 21st at 6 p.m. by Sridhar Panjari, Chief Technology Officer, Sastra Technologies Private Limited. We have provided the link for all the programs in the chat box. I request you all to register for the program. Once again, I thank everyone, speaker, and all for attending and making the program big success. Thank you all. Good night. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you to all. Our sincere thanks to Guest of Honor General Bikram Singh and also the author General Tajuddin for taking off the time and making this event a really memorable one. Thank you very much to everyone who have participated. We look forward to your presence in the future programs also. Thank you very much. With this, we will conclude our today's session. Good night to everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.